Okay. Okay.
So, I mean, I think right now, because of Corona and stuff, everyone is kind of at the same level because the biggest part of any artist's career is really touring, and no one's touring right now. So, that's the challenge really for the business, I think. It's really based on streaming right now, content, Instagram, digital aspects, but no
Right.
one's touring. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So it's possible because the playing field is level. It's possible for artists to be independent and rise to the level of someone who's on a label, with hard work and ingenuity, and stuff like that. You and I talked, and we talked about providing certain services where you're mentoring or you're helping out or you're showing artists what labels or what they would be looking for in an artist. Now,
Right.
just
Can I
as a tidbit, what
can I ask
artist?
a question to Eric real quick? I don't mean to cut
Go ahead.
anybody.
Yeah.
Eric, let me ask you a question because I deal with stupid artists and I try to explain to them this question. If you don't have a fan base,
Okay.
okay, this is the one thing that I want to video myself while I'm asking you this question because again I deal with a lot of stupid artists that think they know the music business but they don't. So
That's not nice.
right, I'm sorry, but if you don't have a fan base, Eric, right?
Yeah.
And you put your music out for DistroKid or whatever you put it out for, you're not going to get paid, are you?
Not really. No one's really going to listen. Whether you're signed or you're not signed, the biggest thing is your followers, your fan base.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, without the label, those are the people that are streaming and buying your merch. With the label, it's really the same shit. Like it's that core fan base, that super fan. Because once the label's gone, all you have are your fans. So
Exactly.
it really comes down to your fans.
Right. And the only way
It really does.
you can have fans, anybody nowadays, is through the virtual world, of course, right? Majority of it, right? So these artists are not on their pages promoting constantly, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, their fan page. How could they build up their fans if they're not doing these things?
That sounds damn near
And
impossible.
you could tell them, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. Yeah, XYZ, I need you to do this. But if they're not physically going on their phone, doing an Instagram story, an Instagram live, posting up photos and content, there's not much you could do. I mean, it starts and ends with the artist and, the team to push the artist. But it's really the artist that, it starts and ends with.
Thank you, Eric. I just know I'm right in what I say about certain things, but I'm glad to hear it from somebody of your stature, Eric. I appreciate you. I just, I try to give advice to these artists to make them better and push them. But, it's just like it doesn't fit in their medulla oblongata, and I don't know why. But to hear you say it, to reiterate it, makes me feel better.
Well, I think I know what it is. The biggest misconception is just looking at the industry across the board and seeing success and then being a little cocky and saying, I'm just as good as that guy, or I toured with that guy. Why can't it be me? And a lot of times it's that peer conversation and your friend, it could be your uncle, it could be your brother. They think they know, but they don't know. And then all those voices get in the artist's head, and then the artist gets very agitated and frustrated. And, it's really, it's disappointing at times because the artist is their own worst enemy. But it starts and ends with them, and they've got to, like you said, you got to stay true to who you are, make the best music you can, keep putting it out, growing your fan base, and eventually, it'll happen. It's time, it's luck, it's hard work.
Yeah. I truly agree with you, Eric. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
So I was saying, what are the labels looking for in an artist? What should they lead with?
I mean, to be completely transparent, labels are looking for hit songs. They're looking for, records that are moving, doing Spotify numbers. They're looking for hits. They want to just come in, piggyback on a song, and just, take it to the next level. As an example, one of the best things I could give as an example is like, I brought in, he's a Scottish artist, this guy, Lewis Capaldi. I saw him online. I think his song had about 500,000 plays, the song Bruises that I saw. And I just kept telling everybody that I was working with, yo, I think this guy's got an amazing vocal, song's a smash. No one was believing me. Then it grew to like 1 million. Then it grew to like 15 million, then 20 million, then 70 million. I mean, we didn't sign him, but he got signed to like EMI and Capitol and stuff. But I was just pushing this dude. And I just saw the numbers growing every week. I mean, it was a combination of, in my gut and my heart, I felt it was a hit song. But then I saw the numbers really backing it up every week, growing. And I was like, it's just moving so fast. There's no way this can't be a hit. And it was. You know, it was one of the biggest records of last year, one of the biggest artists.
So you knew, you saw it brewing, but no one would do it. Like, do you feel that sometimes the labels restrict you on some of your decisions because it's your job
100%.
to find the talent?
Yeah, that was always the challenge of being an A&R person, because it's like a blessing and a curse. You're employed by the label, but you know, a lot of times my allegiance would lie more with the artist that I was working with. Like, you know, maybe we'd be over budget like $500 or $1,000, and I'd be fighting with business affairs, you know, to give me like $500. And it's like, I'm not asking for $10,000. It's like, I could pay for it myself out of my pocket. Like, you're a major record label. You can't, you know, support an artist that you signed for an extra $500 to finish the song. So it was just shit like that I was always dealing with. And, you know, every A&R person will tell you this. It's kind of that push and pull. You're kind of like the lone wolf.
Yeah, my fault, y'all.
It's a weird dynamic.
That's okay, Mir.
No, because I'm driving, you know, the iPhone, it be picking up when you're in a car somewhere, so it put me on driver mode. I couldn't see none of y'all or hear none of y'all. So it said it only gave me one option, leave the meeting. So I left and I came back.
Okay, that's fine. Eric, I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, no, you're good. So I was just saying, you know, you're kind of like the lone wolf inside the building. You know, every A&R will tell you like the stories of things they could have signed or wanted to sign, wasn't able to sign. I have my laundry list. Like, I brought in the Lumineers, the song "Oh Hey" they had. I played that in an A&R meeting. I was one of the first A&R people, really the first A&R person to reach out to their lawyer. I have it in an email. And yeah, I mean, the label just didn't get it. I played it in the meeting. They were like, does anyone think this is a hit? And nobody thought it was. And it was literally one of the top 10 biggest hits of the decade. You know, we didn't sign it, but
so you take the music and you present it to the label in a meeting, and then based upon, I guess, the vibes, if they're feeling it or not, then they make the decision on whether they want to go with it or not. So sometimes, even though being A&R, it's challenging. It's really, it doesn't end with you. It ends with someone who may have had a bad day.
Yeah, and that's the thing with music, it's subjective, right? So you could play a song 5 times and you might get 5 different reactions, you know, on 5 different days. So that's a big challenge, and it's happened to me. Like, you know, I've played it for people a month ago, and then like, you know, 2 weeks later, the vibe is different. So music's subjective. It kind of depends on, you know, the mood you're in and the vibe. So that's why a lot of times with, you know, my one boss, like, I would always just make sure he was having a good day and kind of read him before I brought in music. But if you're bringing it to like an A&R meeting, I mean, an A&R meeting is like the whole A&R department, a couple business affairs people, you know, it's almost like Survivor. Going into the meeting, sometimes you want to kind of plant seeds with some of your coworkers before going into the meeting. And you're like, yo, I think I'm going to play this. Like, what do you think of this? If I play this, you know, will you have my back? And like kind of chime in and say, you fuck with it. Like, there was like alliances and like crazy shit like that that would go on. It was weird. Yeah. Yeah. Because also you got to remember, like also you got to remember, like, at the time when I brought in the Lumineers, maybe I was naive to it, but, you know, I was more of like an up and coming A&R, and, you know, you have your senior VPs and stuff in there that really know the game a little more. So they could potentially say, I don't fuck with it, and then try to go around your back, even though you're part of the same company, and try to sign that artist. I've seen it happen.
So it's cliquish.
Yeah, it's basically every man for yourself. You know, even though you're all on the same team, it's like you got to get the deal done. If you believe in it, whoever's getting it's getting it. You know, go chase it.
That's scary. That's
It's
scary.
wild. Yeah, it's pretty cutthroat. Like, you know, it's intense. So that's a
Hey,
big
Eric,
part of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You had a question?
I just want to ask another question.
Sure.
Yeah, what's up?
As an independent artist, and this is another thing that I have conversations with these artists about, I tell them, when you on your page, you should be promoting yourself instead of promoting other artists, especially other artists that are not promoting you. And I try to explain to them that you should be promoting yourself, getting your fans in tune with yourself. Is that true? Should they be promoting other artists, or should they be focusing on themselves as independent artists coming up?
I mean, I don't know why you would really promote another artist on your own page to begin with.
Right.
You know, if you're an aspiring artist, especially with like Instagram, I mean, just the stories and the Instagram live alone, you know, you could really develop a fan base. And, you know, it's in the beginning, it's going to be a little hard. You might not have a lot of shit to talk about, but as you get more comfortable, you know, you could do stuff like this, bring in an artist, maybe instead of posting like 5 pictures or a video about this artist, just bring them in one time for a conversation, and that'll attract their fan base and your fan base together. But you don't have to consistently promote other artists. You should be promoting yourself first and foremost.